Hey guys, it's Monday on the turbo today for a session, start of a new training block. So I had a rest week last week and now I've got another 4-week training block starting today. I was kind of mentioning last week that I was feeling like a bit more fatigued than I was expecting. Like felt fine going into the start of the rest week. Like I didn't feel like I got to the end of my 3rd week and I was pushing it way too hard. But yeah, during that rest week it was like, okay, there's definitely a lot of fatigue here. Took it easy for that week and yeah, I'm definitely feeling much better today. The DOMs from Thursday's gym session have finally subsided. That's good. Have a go at this session, see what the data is looking like, and if I want to push on or ease off. Yeah, we'll see. So, got 7 max seated sprints, which I've done already. Kind of power's been trending down over the past few weeks. It has been since I stopped doing a gym, and I've moved to a more neutral cleat position. So there's maybe some confounding variables, but I'm seeing a bit of a downward trend in my max power, and I'm thinking that might be an indicator of fatigue. My power's not falling off a cliff, but it's gradually dropping and dropping. So I'd like to see, the numbers didn't look amazing today, but if they've rebounded slightly, it'll be good to see. But if it's dropped further, then maybe I need to consider taking even more rest. But the rest of my efforts are feeling fine and they're progressing. It's like, should I just not read into it so much? But yeah, I think I need to be sensible with it. Obviously it's cold, easy to get ill this time of year. Had a lot of snow yesterday and last night and the day before. I will be on the turbo this week. Again, need to play it by ear because I'm planning on introducing some new stimulus this training block. So today's plan is to do my session. So 7 max seated sprints, spinning the legs out now, then I'll try my 1-minute anaerobic test effort. Then 14 5-second sprints, and then moving on to the high torque work, I'll be trying 5 by 3 minutes at around 95 Newton meters. So aiming for 420 watts, 42 RPM. Likely the cadence will be a bit higher than that, but I'll just see how it goes. Top that first ride up to 3 hours, and then the last hour of the ride I'll do is heat, pop on a waterproof jacket, some more layers on the legs, and then do like a similar heat to what I was doing last year. So your regular zone 2 riding for me is about 38.2 degrees C core temperature. During a session, it might get to, during these short sessions that I'm doing, it might get to 38.3, 38.4. So for the heat work, I'll get my core body temperature up to 39.0 and then just try and maintain that. That probably means similar heart rate, keeping the heart rate constant, but then the power will drop off as you get warmer. Also probably need to get on the roof and clear the snow again. Probably best to do that tonight. I mean, it's meant to stay cold, so hopefully it doesn't turn to slush and start seeping through, but had that happen so before, so don't want to have that happen again if I can avoid it. But I'll keep checking the roof and maybe have to end my session with 40 minutes up on the roof clearing snow. Spinning out the legs now, and then I'll crack on with a 1-minute test effort. Do that at like 45% training difficulty, because 4 weeks ago I kind of fucked it up and ended up failing my effort. So I'll make sure I set the resistance a bit higher and then actually make it to a minute. That was a messy 1 minute. Yeah, finished it, did my 1 minute, 58 seconds, whatever. 58 seconds, then the legs are completely falling off probably. Yeah, didn't get the resistance right again. Like, started off, I'm like, it's a bit too low. Change up the gear, but changing under load at 750, 800 watts. Like, it's always a crunchy gear shift. Felt like I shifted up a couple of times, and then 42nd I started blowing, started falling off the map. So I had to shift down again, and yeah, I mean, I know I tried hard for it, but wasn't well paced. But yeah, got it done. Spin out the legs, then crack on with the rest of the session. They're always bloody hard work, those. Was feeling a bit less zonked than normal after that 1 minute effort, so I was spinning out for a bit longer. But yeah, I need my little sit down. Tommy needs a little sit down after a test effort. As I mentioned, those max seated sprints weren't great. They struggled on that 1 minute effort. It was a bit all over the place. But I just done 14 max 5-second seated sprints. I felt like they were really good actually. Started off about how I was expect, like not amazing. And the last 5 or 6 were really good. I think a lot of it's gear selection, getting the right cadence. I like whack up the resistance before I start, but then my max power seems to be when I like get on top of the gear, and my cadence kind of changes because I'm like 140 RPM. I'm really dancing on the pedals, and they're seated sprints, but I feel like when I get up to that high cadence, I'm not out the saddle, but there's so much less weight on the saddle for me. That's how it feels, at least. And yeah, it's just like getting on top of the gear and finding the right cadence. And yeah, I was producing good power. Like, I've got 3-second power on my Wahoo, and I was consistently seeing above 1200. So like, that's a good sign for getting a 1200 watt 5-second peak, which would be good for me, especially with how my sprint's been looking at the moment. And hopefully like above 1300 for my peak power. Happy with those sprints, and 14's a lot, but I felt good. Felt like I recovered well between them, and it was the last 5 or 6 that felt the best. Maybe like 90 seconds average recovery between them. 90 seconds to 2 minutes. That's promising. Have a go at the high torque work now and see how that goes. Good crack at the new torque. So yeah, was aiming for 5x3 minutes, did 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. 3 minutes was feeling alright for those first 3, and yeah, I was just slipping into the spiral of doom for the last 20 seconds of those last 2 reps. So I ended up just making it to 2 minutes. Maybe if I gave myself a longer rest. I mean, I'm already doing big long rests in between, because I'm all about the quality rather than trying to stitch them together with shorter rest periods, because these are like big VO2 max type efforts. So I'm not bothered about going bigger on the rest. Yeah, maybe I could have got 5x3, but still happy with that. What's that? 13 minutes of work at the new torque, which is definitely above 90 Newton meters, even if my cadence was a bit higher than I aimed for. It's probably something like, first rep was probably 42, 43, 44, and the rest are probably 44. That's how it normally goes. Cadence starts to drift up over the course of the reps as you get a bit more fatigued. It's been out the legs for a little bit now, and now I'm going to wrap up and do the last hour or so as heat training. A little bit of daylight left. It's just about to get dark. Stay nice, and you actually be able to see outside because of the snow. One benefit of it is pretty that when it's at midnight, you can see quite clearly because all the light from the street lights and stuff is reflecting off the snow. Yeah, so I'm already pretty warm, so I'll wrap up, turn my fan off, and then crack on with some heat. Right, going to do 40 minutes heat, so 10 minutes trying to get the core body temperature up, and then try and stabilise it. So yeah, ramp up this first 10 minutes, high zone 2 probably. I did 10 minutes at about 260 watts, feeling nice and toasty. First heat session of the year, and the core sensor's not working properly. Reading 38.0, 38.1, which is completely wrong, which is pretty useless. I mean, I had that last year where I do a heat session and it gets too sweaty and it's not reading properly, but I'm just going to lock the heart rate in at around 140 now, and this will be some good heat stimulus, even though the core sensor's not reading it. It's a beta product. Would not straight up recommend to anyone. There we go. Core temperature, core sensor still sandbagging me a bit, but it's back up to a more reasonable level, probably somewhere between 38.7 and 39. So yeah, the 10-minute ramp at like 260, and then 30 minutes at 230. Very sweaty, very smelly. Time to hop off and get in the shower. Hey guys, it's Tuesday. More snow in Sheffield, so another 3 hours zone 2 on the turbo today. Then gonna hop off, have something to eat, and then get a gym session done. Hopefully I won't get the same DOMs that I did last week, as I'm planning on doing some TT tempo work tomorrow. So hopefully I don't carry the DOMs into that next day, but likely we'll have some DOMs, but hopefully not as bad. Good session yesterday, hit a really nice 1 minute power, 760 watts. And also those 5-second sprints were really good as well. Peak power is not very good still, but my 5 seconds are really good, so I'm like thinking, maybe it's not something to be concerned about really. and a 5-second sprint is a lot more relevant than a peak power you can produce. Not too concerned about my lack of 1300 watt sprint if I can do 1200 for 5 seconds, you know. End of this ride now. Pile of snow after me and the parents up on the roof for the past 2 days, chucking it all off. Hey guys, it's Wednesday. On the turbo for a session today. Got some TT tempo work to do. I've just done my warm up now, just some acceleration, some little ramp, and then a couple of seated sprints. And then the session is going to be 3 by 20 minutes at tempo, so in that 320 to 340 watt range. But I'm just going to be doing a bit base or feel. First time doing a long effort in a while, so just be sensible with it. Since my off-season break, I had 4 weeks off. Then I've had 8 weeks where I started doing this high torque work, sprinting. For that, I was doing 2 sessions a week, 1 session on my rest weeks. But I've been planning on introducing a little bit more intensity, so introducing this tempo work. And I originally planned on doing that at the end of my session, so do my sprints, do my high torque work, and then do my tempo. However, those sessions were already getting very long, and I'm wanting to do the heat work at the end. For example, on Monday, it pretty much took me 3 hours to complete all my prescribed efforts. And then I had an hour of heat at the end, and I had only given myself 4 hours to do that whole ride. So to get an extra hour of work at tempo in, get those done at a proper quality, it just wasn't going to work. It seems a bit weird because this week I'm technically going to be doing 4 sessions, which is definitely a no-go. You want to be doing 2 or max 3 sessions a week. Like, once you get to 4, it's like, not so good. But the way I'm justifying it is because I plan to get them done all in 1 session, but because I'm giving myself big rests between my sprints, my anaerobic test efforts, and my high torque work, I know that I'm not going to be able to get it all done, and it would be too much TSS in a single ride. So I'm trying moving it to a separate day, see how it works. It's the load that I'm wanting to do, but just spread across multiple days. But then it's switching on with that nervous system response, so it's not the same as doing it in 1 day. But I'm hoping that I can make this work. Finish my warm up now and then go crack on with the efforts. Trying them on Train Peaks Virtual, having the kicker being controlled from the app, so see how that works. Still mucho snow. First one done. I have a 10-minute rest now, and then 2 more to go. Yeah, felt alright. Obviously, different stimulus, haven't done a long effort in a while, so heart rate's nice and under control. I got up to like 150 BPM at tops. But yeah, legs definitely fatigued. Obviously had gym yesterday, but so got some DOMs in the legs, but not nearly as bad as last week. So that's going to be the thing for the first few weeks, just getting used to the muscular fatigue of a long effort. But yeah, happy with that. Probably average 330. I'm not recording a lap, but lots of green. So I'm an hour in. It's basically like a third of that bar is green. Probably 320, 330 watts. I just picked a virtual gear, and I've got a gear on my cassette, and just stuck at that for most of it. It's like 90 RPM. Try and get a bit of lower cadence than what I prefer. If I can be at a lower cadence, I can be more steady on the power. Got a bit fatigued the last 4 or 5 minutes. I just shifted down a virtual gear. I was at virtual gear 18, went down to 17, and then picked up the cadence. It's like slipping under 90, so I brought it up to above 90, probably a bit below 95. And then down there, on the 4th easiest gear, obviously a 58 front chainring. Try and do the same for the next effort, and just make sure I'm seeing lots of green at the bottom. 5th easiest gear, 1 easier from the middle of the cassette, 1128 now. 2 down, got the classic, move the trainer, rotate the trainer towards the left, and the bike shifts forward towards the desk. That always happened like during the summer, well, during the whole year when I was doing my TT threshold work in here. I'd always, because I think my right leg's stronger on the TT bike, you're pretty forward on the bike, so like at least central on the bike, if not a bit forward, so the bike just steadily creeps forward. Gonna have to recenter that before my last effort. Feeling good. Yeah, definitely heavy legs, but yeah, managing to keep around that 320 to 330, keeping in the green zone. And yeah, heart rate was again, got up to low 150s. Don't know if it got like higher than 150 really. Yeah, feeling good. Turn that on, check the core temp. There we go, third effort done. Yeah, struggled in the last few minutes, like last 5 minutes or so. Just like my glutes and lower back getting really tight. It's the first time doing TT work in a while, so it's not surprising, and I reckon that will just get more efficient. Over the next few weeks I'll get a lot more efficient, and then I'll just be used to doing those efforts, and I can, well, I'll be building up the time intensity over the next 4 weeks a lot. Get up to that close to 2 hours at tempo in like 8 weeks time. 2 hours in, half of which in the green zone at tempo, because I've done 3 by 20 minutes. So yeah, I've got another 2 hours spin now. Did adjust the bike, pulled it back, but what am I like? Single 20-minute effort causing chaos, shunting the bike forward, trying to break my PC. 5:30, pitch black outside, but got my ride done. Rest day tomorrow. This is just a decent 3-day block. Yeah, really solid ride. 4 hours with 3 by 20 minutes at tempo in the TT position. An hour of tempo plus 3 hours of zone 2, and my legs just feel better after that tempo. It's like pushing a higher gear than you kind of want to for that tempo. So then when you go back to the zone 2, you just feel so much lighter on the pedals and tapping away at decently medium high zone 2, when normally I'm just low zone 2 on the turbo, to be honest. But yeah, 4 hours in now, so hop off, have something proper to eat, and then like I say, rest day tomorrow. Deserved it. Whew. First time not riding zone 2 on Training Feats Virtual, so getting all the power PBs. What's my FTP at? 3:14 from doing tempo. I mean, because I obviously did like best 20 minutes at 3:30, so yeah, it was about 3:30 for all of those 20-minute efforts. I've been mentioning for the last week and a bit about how I was slightly concerned about my sprint power dropping, and that might be a sign of like systemic fatigue. I've been tracking it from the sessions, and like it was consistently above 1300, and then it dropped below 1300 and hasn't recovered to that, because these have been for the high torque sessions and I control resistance from my Wahoo. I have to whack up the resistance and then do my sprints, and today, just doing my tempo session, I was letting Training Peaks Virtual control my kicker, and for sprinting that's so much nicer, because you don't have to whack up the resistance, because you put some power through the pedals, you start accelerating, and then the feedback comes to the trainer to, you can't go infinitely faster, so as you go faster the resistance increases, like you're actually sprinting outside, and you're experiencing more air resistance, so it's a much easier way to sprint. And just doing it like 3 sprints in my warm-up, I was like at 1350 today, so yeah, my max sprint's fine, and I wasn't even really going crazy with those. So I mean, they were max sprints, but normally it would take me a while to warm up into them, do like 5 of them, and the 5th one will be the best. So yeah, that's good to see, but I'll continue doing the sprints in this way to for my high torque sessions, just because keep consistent with it, and yeah, it's still good training at the end of the day. And then if I want to get some nicer sprint numbers, I can let an app like Training Peaks Virtual or my Whoosh control the kicker, or actually do some sprints outside. Yeah, there's definitely technique to sprinting outside as well, rocking the bike back and forth. Like I always do my seats sprinted indoors, because the carryover is not going to be the same for the out the saddle sprints, because you're not rocking the bike. So I do seated sprints indoors, and then once the weather's better and I'm able to train outdoors, I'll work on that out the saddle sprint and how to rock the bike back and forth at 120, 130 RPM properly. That's from today's session, like 1250, 1300, 1350. It's like, okay, yeah, my max sprint's all right. Hey guys, it's Thursday. Just a recovery spin on the turbo today. Just hopping up to 1 hour now. Big start to the week, like 11 hours in 3 days, like 600 TSS. Definitely feeling some fatigue, but not feeling completely cooked, so hopefully get the fatigue out of my legs and then go again tomorrow with another high torque session. So yeah. Hi guys, it's Friday, another session day. Got sprints and high torque work to be cracking on with, plus a heat session at the end. Finished my sprints, so that was 7 max seated sprints, which were alright, and then 14 seated 5-second sprints, which were again quite good. On Monday I felt like I really got the hang of the 5-second sprint and getting on top of the gear, and it was the same today, so they felt really nice. Maybe not crazy peak powers, but very consistent between the sprints and very repeatable, which is nice. Then for the high torque work today, I'm going to try 6x3 minutes. I wasn't technically able to do 5x3 minutes on Monday. Last 2 efforts were only 2 minutes, but I'll try 6 reps and try and make them all 3 minutes, but it might be the case that last few are 2 minutes, but have a good crack at it, see how they go. Changed out the cassette on my trainer because I felt like the cassette was getting a bit worn, so I changed it out for a newer cassette that I've got. And yeah, the drivetrain's just feeling a bit lumpy today. Not entirely sure what's wrong. I'm thinking it might be the case that this chain's a bit worn and I need to replace the chain, because running a quite worn chain on a quite worn cassette, so then it was fine. And now I've changed to a newer cassette. It's only now that it's making this lumpy feeling every couple of pedal strokes. So yeah, I'll have a look at that, see if the chains stretch. I've already got a pre-waxed 11-speed chain, so I might just swap it out regardless. Well, the chain on my TT bike's very new. The Dura-Race chain on my TT bike's not that worn, so if I'm not replicating the noise with that chain, I think it's safe to assume that the chain on this bike is the issue. Yeah, just spinning out for a minute now and then crack on with the high torque. So close. I was like on target, locked and loaded, hitting my session today. Got 5x3 minutes done, and I went for the 6th, and I cut my rest a bit short before it. I'm like, felt good for it, but I only managed 2 minutes, so it was 5x3 minutes and then 2 minutes, so still really good progress from Monday, where I only managed 3x3 minutes, 2x2 minutes. Cadence maybe a bit higher today, like 44 RPM, but still comfortably 90 Newton meters. So yeah, really good work that. Can't complain with that. So yeah, spin out for a little bit now, and then wrap up, do 40 minutes of heat, same as I did on Monday. Hopefully this thing is being a bit more reliable. I'll do the same where do like 10 minutes at higher zone 2 to get the heart rate up to the 140s, and hopefully raise the core temperature. Well, it'll raise the core temperature even if the core sensor doesn't respond, and then another 30 minutes at zone 2, maintaining that 140-ish BPM. Whew. Yeah, good work. Whew. Warms up next week, so be able to get outside a bit. Ripperoni, my whoosh just randomly crashed on me. That's fucking useless. I use it to record data from my single-sided Asioma. So yeah, I've still got the data on from my kicker, but yeah, that's a bit shit. Did manage to recover the ride at least. That's the main part of the session where I'm on both data, so at least it saved that. I'll just finish off recording with the kicker. Just got like an hour and a bit left to do, and heat, so it'll just be zone 2 really. 10 minutes at 270. I'm sweating my balls off here, and the core temperature says 37.9. Once again, letting me down. I connected to the app, so it should be transmitting data, but yeah, it's just completely off the mark again, so oh well. Just keep tapping away at 140 BPM now for another half an hour. Clearly don't need the sensor, because even if you have one, it doesn't work. There we go, that's 40 minutes in the sweat box. Core temperature not responding, but oh well. They're very slow to respond, and yeah, I know I'm hotter than that. Oh, 38.4. Still a lot hotter than that. But yeah, I know from doing it in the past that this is a good way to do it. A good thing I have that intuition, because otherwise I'd be pushing even harder. I'd have to be riding at threshold to think that I'm getting my core body temperature up. Like, nah, high zone 2 is fine for me. Yeah, happy with that. really good session. Hop off and shower. Hey guys, it's Saturday, just coming to the end of a 3-hour zone 2 ride on the turbo, spending some time in TT position. Very basic stuff, had a hard session yesterday, feeling fatigued from that, so just a low zone 2 ride today. I'm mentioning with the tempo work that I was planning on doing a 4th session this week and doing some more TT tempo work, but I've decided against that. It's already coming out to be a really big, hard week of training, and I just don't think it's worth it to add that additional stimulus. Since my previous 4-week block, like, I'm ramping up the intensity of the torque, the sprints, but then I'm also introducing heat and tempo work, 2 heat sessions a week on my big session day. So then doing 2 additional tempo sessions is a lot. So I'm going to stick to 1 tempo session a week. So I'll be doing that. This week is Wednesday, next week is Thursday, week after that is Friday. And then on my rest week, for the 4th week, I'll do it on Tuesday. I think that's the right call. But yeah, tapper away today. And then the same again tomorrow, just be riding zone 2 tomorrow. But really strong week, so yeah. Hey guys, it's Sunday. Actually just ending the week with a 1-hour recovery ride on the turbo. And I've got another recovery ride tomorrow. Bit of a tickle in my nose and my throat last night. Not feeling horrible at all by any means, and feeling better this morning. Slept very well last night. Friday night, my heart rate was certainly elevated during my sleep, but then last night, Saturday night, heart rate not too bad. We're kind of just deciding to err on the side of the caution. I did my 3 hours zone 2 on the turbo yesterday, where nothing irregular with my heart rate. It was low zone 2, so like 220 watts, 110 BPM sort of thing. So really not pushing it. But I decided not to do my gym session and just chilled out for the rest of the day. Feeling good today, but I think 2 rest days and I should be absolutely fine to have my session on Tuesday. And that's not too bad going really. With this 1-hour recovery ride, that's about 20 hours, a bit over 20 hours for the week, just under 1,000 TSS, because I started the week really strong. And obviously the end of this week I've eased off a little bit, but still a solid week of training. If I'm back to normal for my session on Tuesday, then yeah, there's no reason I can't have another really good week of training. And then the week after that, plus the snow's meant to melt next week. It's definitely getting warmer today. So yeah, that should be able to get out on the roads. Not sure this pile will be gone. That's enormous. Chill out today and then got another rest day tomorrow, so should be feeling nice and good. Got to crack on with some bike stuff. Got to change the chain on the TCR. Also think I'm going to change the jockey wheels and the front chain set as well. Just basically like swapping them around between bikes sort of thing. New jockey wheels and then kind of old chain set back on the bike. Yeah.